Her Royal Highness the Princess of Asturias joined the General Air and Space Academy in San Javier, Murcia, today as a student second lieutenant, beginning her training in the Air and Space Force in accordance with Royal Decree 173/2023, which regulates military training in the three armed forces. Upon her arrival at the General Air and Space Academy, Princess Leonor was welcomed by the director of the General Air and Space Academy, Colonel Luis Felipe Gonzalez Asenjo. She was subsequently greeted by the Academy's command staff. The princess then went to the Colonel Director's office in the command building, where she signed the Academy's Book of Honor. In that dedication, the princess wrote, "Today I begin the third stage of my military training at this General Air and Space Academy. I enthusiastically face this course, in which I will have the opportunity to begin my aeronautical training and, together with my classmates, learn the practical and theoretical aspects of military aviation." Next, accompanied by the commanding officer of the student squadron, Carlos Puerta, she visited the women's accommodation facilities, where Queen Leonor changed into her flight uniform. Now dressed in her flight uniform, the Princess of Asturias, accompanied by the commander of the 792nd Squadron, Alberto Guzman, toured various facilities in the flight area. In the Air Force building, she visited the personal flight equipment room, the virtual training classroom, the flight trainer, and the flight simulator. Finally, she got a close look at the PC-21 Pilatus training aircraft. She climbed into the cockpit and received technical explanations from the instructor commander. Asked by the media before boarding the plane how she is approaching the stage, Her Highness responded, "Little by little, eager to learn." This day formalized Her Royal Highness's incorporation into the 2025/2026 academic year, in which she begins her aeronautical training at the General Air and Space Academy. This step is part of the training itinerary outlined in the official State Gazette, which establishes comprehensive military education for the heir to the Crown of Spain, with the aim of providing her with the knowledge, principles, and values that inspire the royal ordinances for the armed forces, and which, in the future, will allow her to hold supreme command of the armed forces in accordance with Article 62.h of the Spanish Constitution. The General Air and Space Academy, located in San Javier, in the region of Murcia, is the training center for future Air and Space Force officers. In the field of military training, the General Air and Space Academy is responsible for providing military training for the General Corps, general military training for the Quartermaster and Engineering Corps, technical or fundamental specialty training for the qualifications required for entry into the Quartermaster Corps, and general military training for the Common Corps of the Armed Forces. The military training system is integrated into the general education system and provides students with the qualifications necessary for entry into their respective ranks. Furthermore, students in military training for officer training for the General Corps earn the rank of lieutenant in the Air and Space Force upon completion of their studies and a degree in industrial organization engineering. The General Air and Space Academy also houses a defense university center attached to the Polytechnic University of Cartagena. The General Air and Space Academy was created by decree of July 28, 1943, to train future professional officers of the Air Force in military, aeronautical, cultural, humanistic, and physical aspects. In its initial phase, San Javier Airfield was a naval air base and housed, among other units, several naval aeronautic schools. Therefore, from its very beginning, this facility has been linked to aeronautical training. The Naval Aeronautics Department also built most of the hangars and buildings at San Javier Air Base, giving it its current appearance, which has barely changed over time. Since its creation, more than 6,500 students have passed through this military training center for command cadres.